Is it showtime? It's go time. Hey, all right. I don't know why I started using that voice. All right. If it's Tuesday, it can mean only one thing, and that one thing is it's time for you and me to get together and talk about the craft and business of making comics, and that's what we do here at Comic Book School Live every Tuesday. My name is Buddy Scalera, your favorite host at 8 p.m. every Tuesday, talking about the craft and business of making comics. A very, very narrow vertical of being your favorite host. But you know what? I see a few of you out there already, and I'm excited. You know why I'm especially excited? Because my good friend Mike Fasolo is back. And Mike, you've been away, and I've totally missed you, and I'm glad you're back.
Oh, well, thank you. I missed you too.
Mike, from that angle, it looks like you're looking down on me.
I never look down on you, bud.
Are you in the bathroom? Are you sitting on the toilet, Mike? Where are you?
Yeah, I got these posts here. That's what I have around my toilet.
I've been to your bathroom. You do. It is a literal throne. Mike, you were out for a few weeks. Are we allowed to talk about why you were out? Because
we can't talk about it right now, but perhaps down the line we can. For now, we'll just have to leave it as there were things that I had to do.
You can talk about the fact that you are a 3-time Emmy Award-winning television writer, and that those things might have involved television.
Yes. It is all possible.
All possible. So you did do some. Hopefully,
I did some writing. We'll say that.
Paying the bills, right, Mike?
Yes, paying the bills. Yes,
because we're not paying the bills with this show.
They have to be very small bills.
Very small bills. Oh, look at that! Gatilla is very happy. Yay! Oh boy, he is very happy that you're back. I'm happy too, Mike. I've missed you. And things done. Stick moonlighting.
I hope we didn't lose any viewers when I was gone.
Moonlighting as an assassin. He knows you well, Mike.
Yeah. Glenn knows what's going on.
Why they call you Mikey the Knife? We can only talk about in legend. So anyway, Mike, you are back. We're excited to have you. We had some guests and guest hosts, and we talked about some interesting topics. But we have a really interesting topic again tonight because we are talking to one of our own, Mike.
I like one of our own. Who's one of our own?
One of our own. Well, we will be talking about. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Using the button. So we're going to be talking with one of our own who is running a BackerKit crowdfunding campaign. And what we're going to be doing is getting the inside scoop of what it is like to run on BackerKit. Last week, we did the behind the scenes of what's happening on Kickstarter. So if people missed that last week, Mike, they can go onto the YouTube channel or onto our Facebook and watch last week's episode as well. So we give them the inside details of Kickstarter.
Excellent. I see that we're doing BackerKit, but I don't even know what BackerKit is.
Oh my goodness, Mike! I can't wait to let you know what Mike. Why'd you go on mute? Why are you on mute?
Because there's a dog in here and it's going to start barking.
Too many dogs in that house. There are just too many critters in that house, and they're very noisy. But you know who's making noise these days? A.A. Rubin is making the noise. He is our guy. Hold on, let me get the applause up. So A.A. Rubin, we know him as Ari. His friends call him Ari. Mike, you can call him A.A. And he is a longtime contributor to Comic Book School, and to say contributor will literally trivialize it. He was the editor or co-editor of our 2 anthologies, has been at every Comic Book School event at New York Comic Con, has spoken on stage, has contributed to people's campaigns, and for the first time, Ari is actually running his own campaign. Ari, a round of applause for that.
Well done,
Ari,
Ari.
where are you dialing in from? I think you're in New York, right?
I am in New York. I'm on Long Island in East Williston, New York.
You're in New York, and somehow you have the house quiet too. Don't you have like 13 children?
I have 2. I hit them upstairs right now. Actually, my wife is working late, so we may get a surprise visit at some point, but hopefully not. We'll see.
Well, Aria's got a lot of children. I also
Yes.
have 2 children, so it's not that many children. But I was wrong on how many children Aria has.
Nice buzzer.
It only seems like that many.
It only seems like that.
They're 6 and 10. So
Does Mike have a dog in the background?
There's a dog.
Yes, he does.
Yes, and it will probably bark. So I will try to on and off mute as often as I can.
So, Ari, real quick, let's just set it up. Tell them who you are, and don't leave out any details about something brand new that you just had published. So, real quick, tell them who you are as a writer and what you have recently published.
okay. So first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it, Buddy and Mike. And
Not Mike.
Not Mike,
No,
right,
no,
just
it's-
Buddy.
I appreciate you being here, though.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike finds out about the guest when he comes on at 8 p.m.
All right. In any case, thank you for having me on. So my name is A. Rubin. I am a writer primarily across a variety of different genres and mediums, including comics. And when I decided I wanted to write comics, probably the most essential thing that I did was attend Buddy's panels at New York Comic Con. That I would not have done anything in comics without that. And I write in comic books, poetry, short fiction. I'm going to be querying a novel soon. I have an issue in Ahoy Comics, an opportunity that I found out about through comic book school, through one of the early YouTube
Yeah,
shows.
remember when we had Tom Pyre on the show, Mike, and we were talking about what people could do to break in? Tom gave advice on how to break in, and Ari followed that advice and is now a paid published author through Ahoy Comics.
Nice. Well done, Ari.
He
This issue is
paid-
coming out March 20th, by the way.
Yes, he paid
Ahoy
attention.
Comics Cryptid number 7. Project Cryptid number 7.
I'll have to go back and watch that episode to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I'll cross-link it from the show notes, so you don't have to rewatch the show or watch the show in the first place, Mike.
Watch it at all.
Watch it all. Ari, do you have your book, your little Edgar Allan Poe book?
I have my Edgar Allan Poe book
There you
also.
go.
This was nominated
Let's
for
go big. Let's go big.
for
There
a
you go.
visitor award from the Edgar Allan Poe House at Museum in Baltimore, where he lived and died. He lived in a number of different houses. It actually features art from an artist who I met at a Creator Connection panel at New York Comic.
So Ari is like a great student who is now turned pro, Mike. And one of the things that I thought was really amazing is that he has started his own campaign, and he's going to give us a little bit of behind the scenes of BackerKit, which is one of the crowdfunding platforms. And since we are an educational show, Mike, Ari has agreed to lead us through the educational discussion to show us what he has learned from BackerKit. What do you think about that?
Excellent. I need to be educated on BackerKit because I know nothing about it.
Ari is definitely your man. So just for some context, last week we were talking about Kickstarter. So if you haven't watched that episode, Mike Ponce, who is a contributor to Ari's book, The Awful Alphabet, pulled together some statistics for us. So just by pure market share, Patreon and GoFundMe are at the tippy top, but Kickstarter coming in at a respectable third place, probably the one most familiar to comic book creators because many creators, including myself, have funded on Kickstarter. Then you go from 21.65 and this precipitous drop all the way to 0.06 for BackerKit. But Ari has had his reasons for why he selected BackerKit as his platform, so we'll get into that a little bit. BackerKit was actually a pledge management platform that was associated with Kickstarter, but they ended up building their own platform. And now, rather than using BackerKit on Kickstarter, you can actually use BackerKit on BackerKit, which is extremely helpful. There are some big name comic book creators on there. SourcePoint Press does their campaigns on BackerKit. Magnetic Press, Mike, I think we had Magnetic Press. Didn't we have? We had Magnetic Press, right, on the show?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
It all starts to blur together after top name talent after top name talent. And then all of a sudden, look who pops on. But A.A. Rubin with his very own The Awful Alphabet. So live now, he still has some 28 days left in his campaign. He is already fully funded. Ari will be talking a little bit about BackerKit. So before we get into that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look. Ari, while I'm scrolling through this, give us the 30-second overview of The Awful Alphabet and who your artist is.
Yeah. So The Awful Alphabet is a picture book for adults in the tradition of both Edward Gorey, like Gashly Crumb Tinies and other such dark alphabet books, and other picture books for adults like Go the F to Sleep or All of My Friends Are Dead, which you might be familiar with. We say that adulting is hard, nourish your inner emo child. That's kind of the tagline for the book. And during the pandemic, I was home with my son, as many of us are, and we were doing these alphabet projects, and it was the best time, and I love being a father and all of that, but everyone has a bad day. And I remember I posted one day, I posted something on Facebook like, I wish I could do E is for entropy today. And an artist who I know, an amazing watercolor artist named Sarah McCall Efron, who did all of the paintings for the book by hand, watercolor and ink, said, oh, kind of jokingly, you should do that book. Like, you got to do this. I said, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, there might be something there. I'll do the book, but you have to illustrate it for me.
Well, and that worked out. That worked out well. And I like Mike. Mike, I like the part where Ari says, you know, many of us during the pandemic were stuck at home with my son, as many of us were. And I was thinking, I was never stuck at home with your son during the pandemic.
Maybe with your daughters, buddy. Maybe
definitely stuck at home. All right, so let's take a look at a couple example pages here. Ari, it looks like we're starting from A.
Yeah. So
very, very dark, riding the wave into the maw of a fairly happy crocodile, but probably from above the abyss. So it is pretty gloomy stuff, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sarah always says it's like therapy and an exorcism in one. You know, and there's this kind of fun darkness. Again, we're thinking of people like Neil Gaiman or you know, in that kind of vein. The art is all surreal, and I would sort of point out that this lettering was done by a comic book school contributor and guest host last week, Mike Ponce, who
That's right.
hand lettered all of the pages as well. So again, the watercolors are done by hand. The lettering is hand lettering, which is rare these days.
So wait, E is for entropy is the one that kicked this off, Mike? Ari, or was it existential?
It was E is for entropy. E is for entropy. Things fall apart as existential ennui envelops your heart.
Wow, Mike, you need a dictionary to go through this.
Oh, book. that ennui. I hear that word all the time, and I just it makes me sad.
Well,
see what I did there?
But I like the existential darkness to this, and yeah, it tricks you. You think it's going to be a happy kids book, and then you start to look closely at some of the illustrations, and they are a little bit on the dark edge side there, Ari.
Yes, and that's part of the point. I mean, we know it's going to be a book for a niche audience, but we know who we're going for, and we know we believe that there are the type of the person who would really enjoy this book.
Well, I think our friend Mike would really enjoy this, right, Mike? You would enjoy this book.
I'm enjoying it already. I wish I was seeing more letters.
Well, Mike,
Yes,
you
yeah.
will be able to see more of it because we're going to show you some behind the scenes, and there's still an opportunity to back it.
Yes.
So Ari, BackerKit, it looks tremendously like Kickstarter. So, like, if you're familiar with Kickstarter, as many of the people who are watching this show are, you start off by, just you look on the left rail there and you see all the details. How difficult was it for you to onboard and get familiar with the BackerKit interface?
So I found it incredibly easy, and that's one of the reasons why me, as a first-time crowdfunder and as someone who's not all that tech savvy, um, why it appealed to me. It is a lot like Kickstarter, but I found the interface to be much easier than Kickstarter. My own website is a WordPress-based website, and the builder reminded me a lot of WordPress, except for that there was more help than Kickstarter, where Kickstarter gave you this big blank space for your story. The way to create different sections of your story and that type of things was easier to do on BackerKit.
So you're going to show us how you guide through. It looks like
Yeah.
they have community. Mike,
Yes.
right here, I got to be the first commenter. Excited to see what A.A. Rubin has produced this time. So it does nurture community, and it does seem to do a good job of cross-linking you to related materials. If you like this, you might also like something else. So that was nice. And Ari's been able to send out emails, updating. Community feature seems like a pretty well thought through function, right, Ari?
Yeah, the community is big, and they also, that's the way that you move up in their own algorithm for what they promote and what they put on their front page, is by people liking and commenting, which doesn't cost anything, and it's another way people can support you. And I want to say also that Kickstarter has become very big, and I heard sometimes it takes a while for them to get back to you about various things. And again, as a first-time creator, every time I had a question and I emailed their support, I got an email back from a real person within 24 hours.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Which
All right,
was amazing. And it was always the same person, except for one time when she was out of the office, where I got an email that said she's out of the office, but maybe I can help you. And then it went back to the same person. So it's someone who's familiar with the campaign, who actually became one of the early backers too. And that, I thought, was a tremendous advantage for the platform, especially if you're doing this for the first time.
I love that. I love that curated custom experience. So it looks like you're filling in some basic information and a little bit of a description. You get your category in there. You get an anchor image. I'm guessing Mike Ponce probably did this for you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
so it's a
he
nice.
Made all of the graphics for the campaign.
Yeah, and he did a really nice job. He used the cover of the book and then blurred the background, and then used the rest of the space for Now Live, and he made sure that he included that it was BackerKit, so everybody understood. Tracking along, Mike?
I am pretty good.
All right, so talk to me about this overtime mode and what they're asking you to do here, Ari.
So for the overtime mode, so this page is just continuing in the build, where you set up when your campaign is going to end, and you could put in a banner image that you could change throughout the campaign. If you have a new poll, if you have a new stretch goal, which they call achievements, but it's a stretch goal, that type of thing. The overtime mode is something that they have where when your campaign ends, as long as people keep pledging, they keep it up. So every time, if you can get a pledge every 10 minutes, your campaign keeps going. They call it a backer train. It's actually a brand new feature. I got an email during the campaign that they put it in, and they said, "Do you want to opt in?" Why wouldn't I want
Yeah,
to?
What's the downside?
Why not?
I don't really see the
bidding
downside.
on eBay.
Yeah. So, let's say your campaign ends at noon. If there's a pledge before 12:10, then it keeps going. If there's another pledge, however long you can keep it going at the end of the campaign.
Well, you still have some 28 days left, so it'll be a little while before you figure out what that means. It looks like One of the features that I thought was kind of neat was the ability to embed a Google Analytics ID and a Meta Pixel. The nice thing about those is that you're able to throw some analytics against this to see where people are coming from, which we'll see in the next couple of screenshots. Have you been keeping an eye on your analytics?
I have been keeping an eye on it. I mean, the analytics are pretty good in terms of where things are coming from, because it's not always where you think they're coming from or where you think they would come from. So, but there is still a section of unknown where they don't know where they got it from. So I don't know, if I was better at analytics, perhaps I could take better advantage of that. But the analytics have been helpful.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, for the most part, even professional websites don't always know where their traffic is coming from. You know, there's a lot of variables. People are able to block their identities and their IP addresses, but it looks like what we see here is in the very beginning, an initial surge in the first couple of days, then a drop off, and then another surge, and then you kind of have a quiet period, and then a couple pops here and there, which to me looks very similar to a Kickstarter campaign, right? You're out there, you get that first surge of family and friends, and then it takes a little while to bake, and then maybe you get a referral through the system. You get a few pops here and there, right?
Yeah, I mean, the trends, it basically follows along. And again, you had mentioned that it initially started as a fulfillment service for Kickstarter, but we'll get to later. But I think they did want it to be as familiar as possible to those users. And if you've ever supported a Kickstarter that's used BackerKit for fulfillment, then you're in their system.
Yeah, what I like about this is it gives you some details, but this was beautiful.
Yes.
All right, take us through what are we looking at here?
So, some people who have used Kickstarter are probably already familiar with this. This is the BackerKit fulfillment service. So, when you can use BackerKit to fulfill your Kickstarter campaign, and if you crowdfund on BackerKit, you automatically have the BackerKit fulfillment tool in there without having to pay twice. Like if you pay Kickstarter, takes their thing, and then you would have to pay for BackerKit if you had a Kickstarter campaign to use their fulfillment service. It's how I first became aware of BackerKit, and how I think most people first became aware of BackerKit. I asked around a couple of people who I noticed were using it when I was thinking about running my campaign, and they all recommended it really highly. So
look at this interface. Mike, even you and I can follow this, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's meant for people like us who know nothing.
Right. Like we're like, oh, let's be creative. Let's do our thing. And like, 6 months after the campaign's over, we're still like, we haven't fulfilled yet. But here, this is such a great resource that immediately tells me what I need to be doing by what date. That is a beautiful interface, is it?
Yes,
and
you can adjust this throughout the campaign, and you can adjust the dates as you need. If you run into an issue with printing or shipping or whatever, you can always change that up to a certain point. But they do give you that flow chart. They print labels for you. You give your addresses. They will print postage labels for you and send them to you. They will.
So are you using their print fulfillment too, Ari?
I'm not using print fulfillment. I'm going to print somewhere else, but I will get my shipping labels from them.
Oh, okay. All right. So
and I will be shipping I will be using the digital fulfillment as well for the digital rewards.
So now, do they send you reminders for those things, or is it just you have to check that page to know what dates to send what?
I mean, I haven't done it yet because it's not over, but I assume that they do send you reminders, because they send you reminders for other things. Like one time I was a day late sending my weekly update, and they sent me an email. It's like, we recommend you send an update at least once a week.
Was it the person that was your helper, your friend?
Oh no, that was an automated system thing.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if it was good cop, bad cop.
That's the bad part. Yeah, that thing. Like get on it, right?
All right. So what am I looking at here? So it looks like at some point, is this the point where you funded?
That is the point where we are now. So the green is how the campaign has gone up until now. If you look at the date on the bottom, that's yesterday when I did the screen
I
grab.
see. So
So
but you're funded, right?
yes, yes.
Is you're 384% funded?
No, that is what I'm trending towards, what they estimate I will get
Oh, you're
based off of.
trending toward.
So right
What are
now,
you at now? Does it
about
say?
1,530 something.
Oh,
Uh,
but you funded though, right?
yes, yes, I did.
Okay, so this is really helpful, isn't it, Mike, to know that if like you continue at this rate, this trajectory, this is Mike, this is what the people in the biz call predictive analytics, Mike.
Yeah, that's a big number, 384.4%. That's far what exceeded what you wanted.
Yes,
Right.
I mean, well, one thing is when they do the review process, they recommend, because it's your first time, or they recommended a lower number than I originally thought, which I've doubled what their number was.
Yeah, because you're
But
AA Rubin.
and they and I don't think that's too uncommon, but they really do go into the review process. So before I launched, I went back and forth with this person a few times about changing certain things in the campaign, ways to optimize it. And I took most of her suggestions, and the things that I didn't, I explained why. And most of the time she was like, okay, that makes sense. But before you actually launch, they have to approve you for launch, which they do on Kickstarter. But I believe on Kickstarter at this point, it's more a rubber stamp. Than this.
Ari, do you want to reveal the name of your awesome helper, or do you know this person's name? Do you want to give a shout out?
Tatsral, yeah, her name is Tatsral. Tatsral, yeah.
All right.
It's an unusual name, yes.
But you know what?
She is the customer service.
Also, unusually good customer service.
Yes, definitely. And she's been amazing. And then, like I said, she's really been helpful. Same person that I've had throughout. So what you have there is the source breakdown. You can see that it's a number of different things. So they have, most of it is coming either from most of it is coming from the emails, either from the BackerKit emails or from different campaign updates. And then a lot of it is the second most is from Facebook, which I was not expecting, because I have a relatively smaller following on Facebook compared to, say, Twitter or where I have many more followers.
It's weird though. Your Twitter following will probably be more business oriented and fellow writer oriented, whereas I think your Facebook tends to be a little bit more on the personal side, a little bit more family and friends. And that, to me, looking at the fact that you got so many from Facebook seems fairly intuitive. In fact, I would have expected Facebook to be higher than BackerKit, but maybe because the link came from maybe Twitter or something, or because you gave it directly to people, they couldn't tell that it came from Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, it could have. I had cards with a QR code. I had, I've been posting it on Twitter and things. I've been using my own email newsletter in addition to theirs. One great thing that they have as well, you can import your audiences from different things. If you have a Kickstarter audience and you want to import it to BackerKit, you can do that. You have to put in a little disclaimer like, I got your email from, you signed up for my email list, or you were from my kick, and then they can opt out if they want, but most of the time they don't. I imported my email, my own email newsletter, and you can import all of that into BackerKit to build your audience for where those campaigns.
Well, hold on. You got Facebook here.
Yeah.
And you got Facebook here. So that's
probably one of them is my writer page and one of them is my personal page, I would guess.
Got it. Mike, would it make sense for you to get on Facebook if you were doing a campaign, or are you just still staying off?
If I was doing a campaign, I would probably jump on and then never go back.
Yeah, Ari, Mike has a Facebook page, but he won't tell me what it is and he won't friend me, but he does have a Facebook.
Well,
but despite the years I've known Mike, he still will not friend me on Facebook.
Maybe I'll send it to Ari.
Right? There was a while that you were reluctant to go on Facebook, if I remember, buddy.
I changed everything, Ari. I decided to become a more private person. So I scrubbed pictures of my kids, my wife, my parents. I just don't think social media is growing in a way where I want to give out quite so much personal information anymore. So I kind of got off and then kind of slipped back in a more different way. So this is the URL right here on top if you feel like typing it. But if you just go to BackerKit.com and look for the awful alphabet, it comes up. I actually Googled it and said BackerKit, the awful alphabet, and it came up. It looks like you've already earned $1,512 toward a $650 goal with 28 days left. That is pretty talk to me here. You got 28 days left.
Yes.
What are you going to be doing to push the follows?
Push the follows in the campaign. You know, I'm going to keep appearing on shows like this one. Maybe not as good as this one, but other shows as well.
No, definitely not as good as this one.
There are shows that have less viewers than us.
I have a number of those appearances lined up. I'm still going to be posting about it. I'm going to be promoting different reward tiers and things that we have. I'm going to hopefully try to get other people to vote about it, to promote it and share it as well. And also, like I mentioned in the community section, if I can get the backers, and I sent an email in that vein yesterday, but if I can get the backers to go on, post more comments and things like that, then it will go up in their BackerKit algorithm. They've already made one post about the campaign and a general post that they had about various publishing projects on the platform. And if you tag them in the post, they will repost you, they'll retweet you, whatever platform you're on. I would say that they have for about 75% of the posts they've reshared on their own as well.
I tagged BackerKit in my tweet as well.
Yep. So they will probably.
Because I want them to know that you're coming on and you're promoting BackerKit and your friend. What was the name of your friend there?
Sarah McCall. Oh, my friend at BackerKit, Tatsral. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So shout out to your friend. Mike, what do you think so far? What are your thoughts?
I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, I haven't ever used Kickstarter or BackerKit or anything, but this seems fairly simple to jump on and get everything laid out.
So Ari, one of the questions I would have, I actually do have this question. How are the fees compared to Kickstarter?
Well, it's a sliding fee depending on how much you bring in. I think it's something like 3 to 5%, depending on how much money you bring in.
But how does that compare to Kickstarter?
I'm not sure. I think it's similar, and you have to remember that you're not paying for the BackerKit fulfillment service on top of your Kickstarter fee; that it's already integrated.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, if you paid for Kickstarter, you'd have to pay their fee, and then if you wanted to use BackerKit for fulfillment, you'd also have to pay that fee. But here it's integrated as well, and the percentage is lower the more money you bring in.
Now, does it go right to your PayPal? What is the deal?
You have to set up. It's the same as Kickstarter. That you have to set up a Stripe account if you don't have one already, and it's a bank transfer through Stripe.
So now, based on this experience, have you been bitten by the bug? Or are you going to be doing more of these? What's your deal?
I would if I was going to crowdfund a book again. I would definitely use BackerKit again. I've enjoyed the experience. I'm not sure. I would think that I would, at least at first, wait a few months before doing another one. I think I would do maybe one a year.
Wait a year.
Like you gotta give it some time in between. You don't want to keep hitting people with, requesting.
And you also don't want to be doing this kind of work. I mean, you got a family, you got to,
also running the campaign has cut into my writing time and, submitting time and these types of things as well, because it does take up a lot of time to do. But it's important to do if you're going to put out a book. The last book, the Poe book, I did without a crowdfunding campaign. And I kind of wish now that I did it on a crowdfunding campaign, because even though that book has been successful, critically successful, and that's been nominated for the awards and it's been out there. It does well when I have it at shows. I think it's advantageous to have that crowdfunding at the beginning, to set it up. One other thing that we didn't mention, because I couldn't show it to you because the campaign isn't over yet, on your show last week, you were mentioning that certain crowdfunding campaigns have a storefront after your campaign is over. People go on Indiegogo. Indiegogo, for example, has a storefront, and I don't believe Kickstarter does. BackerKit has a storefront. So you can run, you could leave your site up after the campaign and use it like a storefront to sell your book, in addition to wherever else you're going to put it, Amazon or, whatever you're gonna do with it. So I was in another book that had a campaign around October, and the book is coming out now. But in between when she ran the campaign and when she's doing on Amazon, she has a pre-sale store up on BackerKit, and you could go to BackerKit and still get the book there after the campaign is over. So that's another thing that I think.
Yeah, so that listen, if they're 0.6 of the market, they've got to do something to differentiate. So, they have to do something. So Ari, we're going to ask you the question that we ask everybody. Ari, I'm going to pull this up. Hold on. Ari, now that you are a working pro, what is one piece of advice you wish you had heard earlier in your career?
So I think the piece of advice that I would say is that there are many different paths to success. That if anybody ever tells you that this is the only way to do it, it's likely not true. It's likely not the only way to do it. That doesn't mean that any way is right, that all ways are right, because that's not true either. But there's usually more than one way to succeed at doing something.
Wow, I like that one. I'm like,
Good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say he wished he had heard of BackerKit earlier.
So people, if they're interested in we're going to call this the Rubin verse. Ari is apparently everywhere. Ari, is there any place where you're not?
Is there anywhere where I'm not? Well, I mean, there's so many these days that who knows? They grow like Hydra's heads these days. These various social media platforms. It was, not that long ago. I was
there, Mike, for you.
Not long ago, I was on 3, and 3 was enough. It was Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and that was it. Now there's a new one every day. There's, Threads and Blue Sky and Mastodon and TikTok and everything. So I might not be everywhere that you are, but anywhere where I am, I'm the Surreal Ari. You could just search Surreal Ari.
I tried this Blue Sky, Mike, and I have to tell you, it's Twitter nicer, but I don't have any followers, and I post things and no one's listening to me.
Maybe I'll join, so I'll be your one follower.
Yeah, I tried. So, like I said, I don't do much Twitter anymore. Facebook is mostly personal, and I post occasionally to Instagram. Really, Mike, all we do is the show now. I don't even send the newsletter out anymore. I have a newsletter.
Oh, that's right. I was missing that.
You know what? I would love to be able to do it all, Mike, but I just can't do it all.
Maybe one day.
I cannot do it all. Ari, thank you so much for joining us. You were a great guest, and we're going to have you go into the green room. Mike, what's waiting in the green room for Ari tonight?
We have Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Mountain Dew.
So, Ari, please wait in the green room. You are welcome to as many. What is it? Flamin' Hot
Cheetos.
And what else?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. And a cardiologist is back there as well.
Yes.
Ari, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's put Ari in he's such a nice guy, isn't he?
He is a super nice guy.
He is a super nice guy. Hold on. Ari, you really are a nice guy.
See, I fooled you guys.
Yeah. He was already starting to eat the Cheetos. He was drinking the Mountain Dew out of a cup. So
yeah.
No, he has been a really Warm Mountain Dew. It's true. Gatilla's revealing that the Mountain Dew is indeed not chilled. We didn't guarantee that it would be chilled, but it is indeed Mountain Dew. I don't know, Mike. I'm ready to start my next crowdfunding. I have to tell you, this BackerKit gives a heck of a compelling reason to give it a try.
Yeah. I mean, if they make it that easy, you might as well give it a shot.
Well, I definitely felt like when I was on Kickstarter, they had to highlight, 1 or 2 a day, here's the number 1, here's the number 2. But mine never made it to spotlight status for Apocalypse Boulevard. It never got that push. Whereas maybe on a smaller platform, I might get a little bit of a push.
Yeah. Can't hurt. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Are you thinking that maybe one day you'll give a little try for some sort of crowdfunding?
I think about it all the time, and then it floats out of my head as soon as I stop thinking about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing one this year. And you know what that means, Mike? This year, like everything we talk about in 2024, you got to do the things, right? It is very important to do the things. Whatever the things are, Mike, you got to do the things.
Yep. Got to do them.
Just like there are some nights we don't feel like doing the show, but we have to do the show because we do the things that matter and we don't bother with the things that don't anymore, right? Like,
that's right. 2024.
Right? I'm not getting anything out of posting to Twitter or Blue Sky. I'm just not going to do it anymore.
But on here, you're reaching tens of people.
But you know what? It's people that I like. It's people including, see, like Ari. You see that smile? Look at that smile. That is, I come on for Ari. And Ari is one of the reasons why I do the things, because Comic Book School, if there is one thing that I'm grateful for, is that I managed to reach somebody with Comic Book School. Don't forget, I have a story in the Very Valentine's Day special. You definitely probably could still find that on the newsstands. And Mike, as Ari mentioned, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we too can get into the algorithm. So if you like this show, make sure you leave a comment, give a thumbs up. And Mike, you'll be back next week as well?
I will be back next week and for the foreseeable future.
All right, Mike. Thanks so much. Have a great one, everybody.